Hello everyone. Welcome to another Questmasters realm. It's very informational, this one. So let's load up. The game's released into early access 2 days ago. Thanks to anyone who's bought it, that's great. You know, I love to see players in the game. I hope you're enjoying it. This is update 1.1 that I want to explain today. Got quite a regular row. I've just started out 2 days ago also. I think we all started fresh. I mean, someone's reached level 5 already. Anyway, here's, it's a bit dark right now. That's, what I want to demonstrate is some of the graphical preferences. If you now press 9, if you look to the top right, you can see press 9 for settings, which gives you this. To make more sense of it, I'm going to turn the sound off actually. That's one of the settings. Can you see here, can have. When you press save, it becomes the current default from edited. So we can turn the music right down and off. The rest of it's actually all graphical settings. So let's have a look at the FPS meter. Now these, when you now save these, it becomes your current default, and this applies whenever you log on. After having set this once, these are remembered by your installation of the game. So as long as you have that install the same, it will remember all these settings for you. And this is loosely the default. The music would have been 1. Yeah, a bit of music. But if we turn it off, you have field of view, dynamic resolution, VSync, and global illumination on or off. Yeah, so I've edited it now. This is global illumination off. Quite a big difference actually. It does make a huge difference, particularly the shadow. I way prefer it on. I've got some experimental stuff that I work on too, particularly when the global illumination, it's a bit like Lumin in Unreal Engine. This is Unity. Its version of global illumination, it's kind of like ray tracing, mild ray tracing. So when the sun goes behind the hills in the distance, right, with this global illumination, the shadow is much greater. You get real darkness when the sun goes behind the hills, and the moon isn't up. So now let's have a look around. What have we got? We've got the moon somewhere. I think it's just coming up over the hill, over there, the moon. Yeah, you can see the moon poking out above the building. That's the moon there. So, you know, it's quite dark right now. Global illumination off. Becomes a bit brighter. And during that patch, just the patch when it's just the sun's gone down and the moon's coming up, it gets very, very dark with global illumination on, but I way prefer it. More realism, and generally looks better. What I want to look at now is that if we look at the FPS meter, I'm quite a solid 60 at the moment. To the top right, there's the FPS. You can see I'm running at 60 FPS, 16.6 milliseconds per frame. Let's look at the settings. Now, if I didn't have dynamic resolution 1 on, what is dynamic resolution? Have a look at Felicia. It's a bit more blurry, right? But what it's doing is it's going down. It's reducing it's reducing the resolution effectively. This is off, 0. Now, if I wasn't using this DLSS on an NVIDIA card, or if you don't have NVIDIA, it reverts to TAA, anti-aliasing technique with dynamic resolution. It's a reduced resolution and anti-aliasing. So let's have a look for if I save now with no dynamic resolution, 0. Let's have a look. Look at my FPS in the top right. I'm at 40 now. I have VSync on. Now VSync setting is connecting your monitor is fixing the speed to the speed of your monitor. And I have a 60 Hz monitor. VSync 1 means it's trying to fix to 60. If I reduce to 2, it now fixes to 30. Can you see that? Because 2 means half speed, 1's normal, and 0 means off, which is possibly bad to have it switched off. VSync stops you getting tearing, they're like lines on the screen, and stuttering, other effects. But in this case, it can actually get better. Because I've got a 30 edited current, so when you save it becomes current, close it, and it's all saved. Right. I'm not sure if this comes out on a YouTube too well, okay, it's the kind of thing that blurs out. But as I move left and right now, because my graphics card is only really capable in this scene, this is the worst part, the worst scene of the entire game is this tavern. It's this badly optimized, yeah, that sounds bad. It's not functioning that great. If I was going to change something, maybe it would be this tavern, because it's a bit high poly and stuff, but you might not see that, but it's got a lot of lighting, it's full of NPCs. It kind of, it's struggling a bit for the GPU. This is actually pushing it. This is the worst scene in the entire game, because it's to do with the optimization of the render. Hell Tavern is nowhere near as bad. Anyway, looking at the settings, they can really help us out. So say I took VSync off. Okay, you can see now I'm 3D floating. I'm not jerking around anymore actually. This helps reduce the jerkiness. Because it's not trying to fix to 60, it's when it can't reach its target of VSync. But what you can hear is my fan picking up, my graphics card's taking off, as it were. It's kind of, you know, the fan's really going for it. So if I switch back to that, okay, it can't make 60. I don't want to set it to 30, which would greatly reduce the pressure on my graphics card. But 30 FPS is a bit PlayStation 4. You can notice it, I can notice it. I feel the difference between 30 FPS and 60. But that's a good solution if you just, you know, you're on a 60 Hz monitor and your computer's not really up to it. It's plenty smooth, you know, it's as good as the PlayStation 4 used to be. That's VSync 2 halves your frame rate of your monitor. So if the monitor was 120, VSync 2 takes it down to 60. If you're struggling at 60 in that scenario, it doesn't have the divide by 4 option, yeah? So what I would do is, if my monitor had a setting to set the monitor to 60, or in Windows Display or whatever, I could switch it down to 60. The game will pick up the FPS rate of your monitor. So if you reduce the monitor to 60, and then VSync 2 will take you down to 30. Yeah, if you're really struggling. I use VSync 1, but as we saw, I'm kind of locked at 40 and I'm jerky. Dynamic resolution, look to the top right, save it, applies a setting. Immediately I'm back to 60. So with dynamic resolution of 1, with my graphics card, which is not bad, it's a RTX 2060 NVIDIA. That's great. That's running great. That's 60 FPS, no jerkiness, very smooth now, easily. Just by using dynamic resolution 1, I fixed the issue. There's other ways that you can do it. Global illumination is very heavy. If I switch global illumination off, you see also I'm back to 60. No issues, but I'm losing the global illumination, the nice shadow effects. I mean, it's not that bad at all. It's quite nice without it. It's a choice. So you could do both. You know, this is taking pressure off your graphics card, because if your graphics card fan is going overboard, you're overheating your card, you're pushing it too hard. You can increase up to dynamic resolution 2, go half speed, switch off global illumination, okay? And that takes so much pressure off your graphics card if it was struggling that, you know, that'll let it cool down. And that's just the worst bit in the entire game, actually, is that tavern. Let's go to the desert. I mean, that's the majority of the effects: dynamic resolution and VSync and global illumination on or off are the biggest factors governing your frame rate in this game. Any game probably, but you know, particularly in this game, you have these are the options. So I don't like. I want to be back at 60. The desert, I've got no problems at all. I can switch dynamic resolution off if I want and put global illumination back on, and I'll still be 60 FPS. I don't think it will ever. Yeah, 20 here you make my FPS go down, but dynamic resolution 1. I mean, I set this. This is the default setting, by the way. It's VSync 1. Unless you have a 120 Hz monitor, in which case it will take down a 60 FPS and set this to 2, which is recommended. Or 144 monitor becomes 72, 240 monitor becomes 120, unless you set the monitor settings to lower frame rate, in which case we'll have that. So that's using whatever your monitor is set to. So 1 on mine is a 60 Hz. Well, it does do 120 Hz, but I have it set to 60, and I set VSync to 1, I'm at 60. I mean, in this desert, right, so let's see, switch global illumination off, dynamic resolution on. Even towards the NPC is not too bad. Walk around, I'm probably something like 100 towards, you know, if I was looking at the edges of the map and there's not a lot going on, I think I could get 100 FPS out of this. Yeah, I mean, there's not actually a lot of difference between dynamic resolution 1 without VSync. Eventually that may overheat. The reason being, without VSync, I'm pushing my CPU and GPU as hard as they can go, really. I've actually got a load of stuff running in the background of mine. It's possibly why it goes much higher. It would do 120, but I've got tons of stuff running in the background on mine, so don't do that either if you don't want to blow your computer. Much safer with VSync on, it prevents tearing. So I'm back down to 60 and it's easily handling 60. I could have dynamic resolution off and global illumination on. You know, and that's like maximum fidelity, except this guy. Oh, it's just proving me wrong. It's because I've got stuff in the background. But put the dynamic resolution on. The graphical quality of DinRes 1 on this game is fine. You know, I don't notice a difference much. Tiny bit blurred, maybe going about it's DLSS, RTX. Just you can say it's blurred a bit. I can't really tell. You got rock solid 60 FPS, and that's what you need. I mean, without the DinRes, you know, some NPCs are gonna mess you up a bit. The other approach is global illumination off. Again, to give you 60. So we're just going back over that now. I prefer this and global illumination on. DinRes 1. Great, 60 FPS. Should be fine. That's practically everywhere in the game on my card. Dynamic resolution 1 and VSync 1 to 70 to 60 is fine. The other setting, field of view, let's have a look. I used to set this as the default. Currently the default is going to be 1, but you can set whatever you like. This used to be, can you see that? That's 1, that's 2. So I'm a bit zoomed out now. Yeah, you see a bit more screen. That's field of view 2. Maybe for 3. Field of view 3. There we go. Great, you know, you've got that zoomed out. You can almost go top down if you pull the mouse back. It it's a bit close up underneath, above, but you know, running along, you can get a nice view of what's around you a bit more, or you can go down to zero. In fact, zero is the lowest field of view. It's very close, almost first person. When you switch to range, it kind of pulls in a bit anyway, I think. It does when you draw the bow. Let's have a look. Yeah, see, it comes right up close there. That's field of view 1. Let's go 3 and see that bow again. So yeah, I'm going to give you a different edge. You can see what's around you a lot more. Yeah, that's field of view. One is the default that's been running without this. You could have always changed it. I think it was the 6 or the 7, 8 button change field of view. 1 or 2 are maybe more normal. I quite like 2. I played a long time. I played in 2, which is this. So this guy's stark. I think it's more helping out there. Or 1 default. So, I mean, that's most of the defaults, most of the settings that you can change. You save them here. You know, once you change them, if you save them, see, edited, saved, it's applied and saved. This is the default, unless your monitors are a bit fast, in which case we'll put this to 2 by default initially. So, whatever that is, you just press 9, off and on, 9, save it to save it, and it's done. You know, whenever you log on again, these settings will apply, and yeah, that just tailor it to your experience. But think about, press 0 for the FPS in the corner, top right. Think about what your target rate is. Think about that VSync setting, what your target rate is, and if you're coming in under your target rate, then it's not looking good. Also, if your target rate is too high, and I mean, I can get 60, and actually with dynamic resolution off, it's a bit noisy sometimes. Yeah, because I'm just running on the edge of 60. See what I mean? Particularly global illumination. Let's just go over it again. Global illumination. When the sun's high in the sky on the moon, you can't see the difference much. It doesn't make a huge amount of difference. See the shadows changing. They're so different when the sun's the moon is low. It's just better on. To my opinion, I way prefer global illumination on. And in those cases, I use dynamic resolution 1 because my fan's starting to take off already without it. You know, even if I was saying 60. Below your target rate, if you can't hold your target FPS rate, then you will get a barely noticeable graphical glitching. But you're also getting very close to CPU overheat and GPU overheat that could cause your game to crash. So, yeah, just really think about that. And set your settings. You can set them high. It gets a bit blurry with this. You know, I could count myself at 30. You know, if that was important to me, if you were streaming as well, whatever, and it's so blurry, it's a dim res, so get that back down to 1, that's what I prefer. Unless, you know, if I was on a lower end card and it's really struggling, I don't want to sound silly, but I just don't like 30 FPS anymore. So I have to have 60. You know, if you're on 120, I think 60 is fine. I would use 2 if I was on 120 Hz monitor. That's the default anyway. It will automatically say it's 220 and above. 144 cap you at 72, that kind of thing. Dynamic res 1, I recommend it as default. Field view, global illumination, I just prefer it on, but yeah, play around with that front. Anyway, I'm going to sign off. Thanks for buying the game if you did, and you know, think about it if you didn't. I hope you're enjoying it. Thanks a lot.